Hi, my name is Micah Watson and I'm a composer and music producer for media. Today I'm going to be telling you 5 things I wish I knew before I'd started freelancing in this industry. And I just want to say these things apply to any freelancing career, particularly in a creative industry. Number 1, it's not what you think. Many people study something and then they think getting a job will be simply applying their knowledge. It really isn't. That is a part of it, and obviously knowledge and skill does help. But when you start a new career or start working as a creative, there are so many things that you're going to have to learn through experience, like how to deal with clients, how to work with new software. If you're working for yourself, you're going to have to learn things like finances and budgeting and invoices and dealing with clients and following up and marketing. And I mean, it's just a never-ending list of things that you need to know and need to learn and need to improve on in order to grow your business. And that is just aside from the actual product, which in my case is producing music. When I started, I thought I had a good idea of what I needed to be doing and what I was doing, but the reality was I had no idea. Which brings me to number 2. Forget everything you thought you knew. I'm not saying forget everything you know, but you might have studied composition or production and you might think you know what you're doing, and maybe you do, but there will be a project and there will be a time where applying your knowledge the way that you've always used it will not be the right approach, and you're gonna have to learn new things. And the best thing you could do for yourself in that situation is adapt an attitude of humility and willingness to learn, and not an attitude of, I know this, I've studied this, I'm brilliant. That's going to get you nowhere, and if anything, it's going to just earn you a reputation of not being client-friendly and not being nice to work with, which as a creative, you absolutely have to be both of those. Number 3, seek constructive criticism and ignore the mean people. There's a very big difference between constructive criticism and people just saying everything you do is terrible and you should stop and you're a horrible person and you suck. Just ignore those people. You should be seeking out actual feedback. This wasn't so good, maybe you could improve here. What I've found really helps is actually to guide people with giving feedback. If you've worked on a song and you don't quite like it, or you don't like the bass line, it might be daunting for you to play it to a friend or family member and ask them, please tell me what you don't like. They might be horribly scared to offend you, especially if you're a bit like me and don't always take the negative things so well, which is another skill you should learn in this industry. But ask them guided questions. What do you think of this bass line? Is it loud enough? Do you feel like the drums are overpowering? Or if you're writing orchestral music that has been sampled on a computer, could you think that maybe a real person played this? Or does it sound completely computerized? These are the kind of questions you could ask people to get feedback. And if you're asking people that do know what they're talking about, as in people in the actual industry that have experience with this kind of stuff, ask them for tips to help you. In this day and age, everyone is giving their tips and feedback and creating courses online. Getting information is so easy that people are more willing to help than you give them credit for. Obviously not everyone shares their knowledge, but I was pleasantly surprised with how many people were willing to help me when I didn't know what was going on, and I feel it's only fair for me to do the same. One big point on this number 3 with seeking out constructive criticism and ignoring the mean ones is apply this to yourself. So as a creative, or I find I have to be extremely critical if I want to produce a good quality product. I need to be paying attention to every kind of 30 seconds of a beat to make sure things are tight. Does it sound computerized, doesn't it? I have to redo this mix is bad, just redo it even though I really don't want to. I kind of have to, but there's a difference between helping yourself get better and just saying, this sucks, completely give up, stop it. You need to be your own best friend and a trusted critic, but you need to be kind to yourself. So when you accept your own feedback about your own work, make sure you're telling it to yourself in a constructive way and not in a way that's tearing you down. That ultimately is going to end up with you quitting or going down into spirals of depression and feeling inadequate, and we don't want to go there. Which brings me to number 4. Don't compare yourself to anyone. I find this really hard to do. I want to be the best orchestral score writer in the world, and to do that I'm kind of thinking, well, if I want to be the best, I need to be at the very least as good as this guy. Insert name who I think is the best orchestral score writer in the world. And although benchmarks do help us and kind of show us what we can be aiming for, we simply cannot compare ourselves. Even if we try to, our metrics would be completely wrong and it would make no sense. Don't even try. Just focus on being the best that you can be on that day and cutting yourself some slack when you need to rest. And find people that are positive and encouraging of what you're doing. With practice, you will get better, and that's a great thing. And number 5, if you want to get ahead, you got to stay on the cutting edge. There's never really a rest in this job, which is something I wish I had known. There might be times where there's not that much work to do, and you need to either use those times to catch up with other work or use those times to rest, because when the work does come, it's a lot, it's demanding, there's always more stuff to learn. If you want to keep growing as a musician and as an artist, you're going to have to keep striving and keep pushing and keep going forward. That doesn't mean you can't have fun, doesn't mean you can't have a holiday, but it's an attitude that you adapt of. Keep learning, keep changing with the industry, with the times, and it's a lifestyle really. So those are some of the things I wish I'd known. Take these things into consideration and see how they can maybe help you. Thanks for watching.